Protests have continued to trail the declaration by the Central Bank of Nigeria that the old 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes ceased to be legal tender on February 10, 2023. Of course, this is at variance with the Supreme Court ruling on February 8th that the former legal tender should remain as legal tender until they met February 15, and of course that was upheld at the sitting on February 15, 2023. All of these have continued to get Nigerians livid and angry, even despite the the reassurance by President Muhammadu Buhari, who made a declaration saying that the old 200 Naira notes should be recirculated and should remain legal tender in concurrence with the new 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. But that is yet to be seen, and which has led to different protests in Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, and different parts of the country. Let's watch this video to understand better what's going on in the country.
The old 200 Naira banknotes be released back into circulation, and that it should also be allowed to circulate as legal tender with the new 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes for 60 days from February 10th, 2023 to April 10th, 2023, when the old 200 Naira notes ceases to be legal tender. In line with Section 20, subsection 3 of the CBN Act 2007, all existing old 1,000 Naira and 500 Naira notes remain redeemable at CBN and designated points.
That broadcast by President Muhammadu Buhari followed reactions from Nigerians who says they can no longer bear the hardship imposed on them by the new policy of the federal government on the newly designed Naira notes. Some roads and streets within Lagos have been taken over by policemen on fear of riots from residents. Some of the respondents, though appreciated the policy, said the implementation is too hard on the common Nigerian and small businesses.
I collect it yesterday. As I collected yesterday to buy markets, when I want to buy markets yesterday night, people is not collecting it from my hand. Everything is inside the house now.
As we sit down here since 7 o'clock in this morning, we no see money collect, and we are on queue. When it is my turn, they say no money. The little one they supposed to give me, they no give me. They say the money don't finish. Why the money will finish? And we no get money for house to feed ourselves. They no take old money. And for bank, they no take old money. For bank, they don't give us new money. Which country we are?
Tell me, what is the essence of the government that we have in our country? I'm a Nigerian man, suffering all over the world. Please, you people should help us. Let them help this country. Suffer too much.
They called on the president to urgently have a rethink on his decision to save Nigerians and small businesses.
One bar fuel, they no collect them. One bar food, they no collect them. I want to travel. I'm going to Abeokuta. They refuse to collect old money from my hand. I'm driving now. No way to go. No way. No way. Please, make them help us. No way.
I don't see money spent. I go where I chop yesterday. They collect old money yesterday. Today now they don't want. They don't want old money. They don't want transfer. And they don't want. Okay, you know what you want now. We don't see this money. I don't do outside now. I don't see. My friend, where they work, that new notes, they don't collect them. They don't see and collect. Now old notes, 200, 150, and they collect.
It's not making any sense. I spent the whole day here, day before yesterday. They said they load 1 million naira. I couldn't withdraw 5,000 out of my own other money. It's trading. I am stranded. Seriously. It's not funny. It's not funny. Seriously, it's not funny. I need my money. I I need my money. The CBN should get it. They should release our money. I have good notes. They're not taking out notes. They're not taking out notes, man. It's crazy.
That was the situation at some commercial banks visited. Some customers, while lamenting the situation, said they have been in the bank for several hours with no hope of accessing cash.
As we sit down here since 7 o'clock in this morning, we no see money collect and we are on queue. When it is my turn, they say no money. The little one they supposed to give me, they no give me. They say the money don't finish. Why the money will finish? And we no get money for house to feed ourselves. They no take old money. And for bank, they no take old money. For bank, they no give us new money. Which country we are?
Nigerians are complaining bitterly under the harrowing experience of Naira scarcity. And of course, we see how emotions are running high there. It is a very serious situation. Still with us is Matthew Kuka to analyze this situation. Thank you for staying with us.
Matthew Kuka.
Did I say Matthew Kuka? Oh my God. Matthew Kuka, I apologize. But really, it's not funny out there. Look at the lady who was, shedding tears there. And I'm sure that's just one of the several. We've seen people stripping themselves naked in banks. The President Muhammad Buhari, came out on February 13th, or what day was that? On Thursday. That was before the what day was the
after the Supreme Court judgment?
After the Supreme Court judgment on 15th. Yeah, that was 16th of February, Thursday. And this was supposed to quell all of the tensions in the country. He said that the old 200 Naira should be recirculated, but we're yet to see that. What exactly is going on? Okay.
I think the idea to recirculate old 200 Naira note is not totally bad. But I think Nigerians have almost exhausted their patience to wait and allow the banks to recirculate the old 200 Naira notes. I think it's part of what we saw that, was it on Friday, when almost everywhere was on fire in Lagos and some other parts of the country. But I think if you look at the whole scenario, for me, I think it was unnecessary for those governors who approach Supreme Court to have approached Supreme Court. Because we have a situation where we are having conflicting directive. And that is a recipe for crisis, or if care is not taken, it's a recipe for anarchy. Because for me, if I want to be on the side of the law, I would say the position of the Supreme Court is the right thing to do. Because we're in a constitutional democracy and laws, orders of court are meant to be complied with. Because even the office of Mr. President is a creation of the Constitution. And the office of those judges that give that order, restraining order, is a creation of the Constitution. But the way it stands today, we have a situation where Mr. President gave a directive and have some state governors giving counter-directive that is at variance with that of Mr. President.
But Mr. President's directive is also at variance with that of the Supreme Court.
That is why I say, if I want to be on the side of the law, I would say the position of Supreme Court should be complied with.
Sacrosanct.
But the way it stands, for me, like I said earlier on, I said it was not, for me, I feel it was not proper for those governors to approach the Supreme Court. Because even Mr. President and CBN have consistently maintained that the policy is not cast on stone, that is subject to be reviewed. And we have seen it reviewed about 2 or 3 times. And you have a situation where the court order have now restrained the CBN and the federal government from further reviewing the policy. And Mr. President have made a pronouncement which is in itself against the order of Supreme Court. So the way it is, I think it is, we need it's a very precarious situation that we need to be very careful in looking at how to navigate out of it.
But the grass is the one that suffers. Nigerians are the ones suffering in the midst of all this. Governors are giving their own directive. Look at Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State telling MDAs and different traders to continue to receive the 500, the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira note, saying that he would sanction those who do not. And then I saw an interview where citizens of Kaduna State were asked what their reaction is to the governor's statement, and they were like, he is not the president, he has no right to tell them which is legal tender, because it is what the market says that would determine what they would do. If they go to the market and they cannot spend these monies, no matter what the governor says, it does not hold water as long as these monies are not being accepted from them.
That's why I've been issued, I said, is a recipe for anarchy. Because you have a situation where even as the governor have given the directive, does he as governor have the capacity to enforce it? Obviously no.
Even according to the constitution, he has no right to determine what is legal tender.
It's a different thing to say he has no right to, because what I can understand that he's trying to tell people to comply with the order of Supreme Court. What I'm trying to say is, however I look at it, he do not have capacity to enforce it. Because we are even looking at assertive enforcement of court order. It even rests with the executive. Even the order of the Supreme Court, if it needed to be enforced, is the police that had the mandate to enforce it. And the police is answerable to even Mr. President, because Mr. President doubles as the president and the commander of the armed forces. So to that extent, we have crisis in our hands. I must tell you, how best can we navigate out of it is the issue now. Because whether we like it or not, we have a situation where a greater number of persons are comply with Mr. President's order. And you have some people who are complying with the order of those state governments. I will tell you that I have insinuation, or somebody told me about even some persons in Lagos here or some other part of the country who are taking old Naira note to Kaduna State and some other parts of the country to perhaps redeem it or buy market and come back to Lagos. I was listening to channels the other day and I saw some traders who were lamenting that they contributed their old Naira notes, gave it to a particular person to go to the north to use it to buy products, goods, and EFCC intercepted them on the way and seized the money. So that's what I was telling you, that even if you see this state government giving counter directive, do they have the capacity to enforce it? Obviously no. Even the EFCC we are talking about is under the federal government.